this is, I don't even know what this is called. Vision board, something like that. I did this a couple of years ago. Ain't none of this stuff come true. Well, I did go to Puerto Rico. I never got a Porsche. Yeah, most of that didn't come true. Anyway, this vlog is a little bit different. I have recently switched over my fish tank from this kind of bowl. It's not a bowl. It was some invention that was like kind of a Kickstarter project that started a couple years ago, where you just were able to pour water in and it would flush it out. Seemed like a good idea, but in hindsight it's really not, because a tank needs a filter. And as I'm learning and I'm understanding more about fish, they need a bigger space. So not that this tank that I just got is any, well, it is bigger. It's 1.5 gallons, which by standards of fish people is still relatively small. It should be 5-10 gallons, but I'm just trying to move up little by little and learn little by little as what I need to do to accommodate a fish. Nevertheless, I'm going to show you this tank just in case you've purchased this tank. Here are the pluses and minuses of it. There's some things that, you know, right off the bat it looks beautiful, but at the same time there's some things that can really, excuse my French, piss you off. So stay with me and let me show you my new tank. We got to go to another room. It's in the bedroom. Ooh, where all the magic happens. Stay with me. All right, we're back and we're headed to where the magic happens. The magic happened. There's a baby. The baby's here. No more magic happens. So, this here, ladies and gentlemen, is my new tank with my fish, aka, let's see if I can zoom in on him. Majiha Azul, I think that's how you say it in Spanish, which is blue magic. You know that, well, I can't say this as if everybody would know, but you know there's a hair grease called Blue Magic, which black people use, and that's the name, particularly because of the color. But I just thought it was funny when my wife named him, because yeah, Blue Magic is that hair grease. But okay, so the pluses of this tank. If you see, it has this really cool round design. I think there are no seams really to this tank. Everything is has these nice rounded corners on it, and even though it is, you know, 1.5 gallon tank, it's still relatively nice in terms of aesthetics. Then you come down here to the base, and it's really nice because it lifts up. I don't know what that is, maybe an inch off the surface here, and then it has this little plastic bottom here that kind of separates the rocks. So again, I think that's great. The lights at the top up here are fantastic and provide great lighting, and then there's the filter in the back. So here, I guess this is where I'll start to say some of the stuff that I really don't like about the tank, because it's beautiful right off the bat, but it took a lot of massaging to get this tank to where it should be and where it would be appropriate and comfortable for this fish. So let me kind of explain that. So in the back here, you see the filter. It is pushing out enough water that it's too turbulent for the fish. So I ended up getting these plants here. I know they're fake. Some people would say, you know, again, I'm not the most astute fish connoisseur, so I don't, you know, I didn't get the real plants, some hydrangeas or something like that. But this helps to block the flow so that it's not so turbulent over in this area here. And because the flow was so difficult, I ended up purchasing this blue ring to allow the fish to eat from inside there. But he's so temperamental that sometimes he doesn't. He'd rather be hand fed. So what I have to do is temporarily turn this off every morning for like, you know, 30 seconds, feed him, and then plug it back in, which is, you know, via these two, the light and the power source to this. It would be nice if you could move this filter over to this side, because you see it has a little port where it can, you know, where the cord can go. that's a lie. It needs to stay on this side. I tried to move it over here, but it doesn't work because the lighting cord, everything is too short. So I ended up having to switch it back, and I put a heater over here to accommodate. But we're in California and the temperature of this water is like just below 80 degrees. So yeah, don't necessarily need that. But in the winter, don't get it twisted, it gets cold. I had also got this little rock feature with plants. So, because he usually sleeps in there at night, and it gives him a safe haven against, again, the turbulence of the water. There's no way on this filter to slow it down. I do like that it's the one plus of this filter is that it's like a 3-stage cleaner, and it does come with the tank, so that's kind of accommodating. And I see people asking the question like, what filters do you get to replace it? I will put that in the description. I think it's I bought some based on what someone else recommended, and they fit directly into this filter, so it should be fine. Also, you're gonna need I guess some rocks, so make sure you get rocks. And if you notice that I built the rocks up along the back side of that, you know, so it kind of gradually comes up, and it's built up to kind of protect my fish from going into this back end where the filter is, because it's let me see if I can show you that. So you can kind of see I have the rocks so that he can't get underneath there or on the back side of there, because that thing is kind of, you know, pulling in water, and right there is pulling in water, also that it can push out water up here. But again, you want to be able to protect your fish, so I would recommend that you kind of build that build this up a little bit. And trust me, this was a labor of love to kind of understand just for a 1.5 gallon tank. So now I really respect fish connoisseurs, or whatever you want to call them, people that really have bigger tanks and they do whatever they need to do. But as you can see, the water is super clear and clean, and it just takes a little bit of like cleaning once a week or every 2 weeks, where you take out approximately 10% or 20% of the water. And I have this little siphoning hose, and I just kind of brush it through the rocks to get any stuff up, and it works. But oh, the last thing that I don't like about this tank, again, it's beautiful, so don't get it confused, but this hole is a feeding hole. Yeah, there's no point in having a feeding hole here if you're dropping pellets here, and then the filter's just gonna push it around. And my fish is not like the most hunting of fish, so it doesn't technically, you know, won't, you know, once it gets caught up in the whirlwind, the underwater whirlwind, my fish isn't gonna get it. So there's no point in having that access point. I literally have to lift this thing up, like I said, unplug this, and this feed him. Like, he's so spoiled, I guess you could say. But it was really very much so a struggle initially to get him to eat, because, you know, the turbulence and getting used to the tank. So, but after a week or so, Blue Magic appears to be doing pretty good, in my opinion. I mean, it's a beautiful fish. I'm not going to be the person that pays $200. I didn't know that betta fish could be that expensive, and people have very much so shown me otherwise, that you can literally pay $200, $150 for a fish. And I'm like, for a betta, like a simple Petco $15, $20 max fish. Oh, and the last thing I got in here, sorry, is the thermometer. So these are the things that I think could really potentially help you to make this tank efficient, because again, the filter is way too powerful. And again, this is just a desktop tank, but it beats being in the kind of cleaning, self-cleaning tank that I had before, which was, it was great because you think you don't have to clean it. No, that's a lie. And you'll eventually find out that it gets quite dirty, and you can, no matter how much clean water you're pouring into it, it doesn't suffice for what fish actually need. And this, as you can see, this water is super clean, and it's been, I think, about a couple of weeks since I've had this tank. So, but yeah, any information as it relates to the information about this tank will be in the description below. But everything that I've purchased here, for the most part, is either Amazon or Petco, and I'll put that in there. But the reason I did this review is for people who, in particular, who've purchased this actual, I think it's called Penn Plax Play. I think that's the name of the company. Don't get me to lying. Hopefully that's the correct name. But if you purchased this particular tank, then I wanted to do this review for you because I didn't see any reviews myself as it related to how this tank would work and what you needed to do to accommodate it, etc. But these are the things, so I'll just point them out again. So the heater here in the back, this is a very small heater. It's meant for like a 2 to 3 gallons, or between 1 to 2 gallons or something like that, 1 to 3 gallons. So it's very accommodating for this tank. I don't need it right now for the during the summer here in California. This fish ring, you could get this to accommodate your fish if the water's too turbulent. I ended up getting this kind of rock sculpture at Petco. The blue ring was at Amazon. This was at Petco, the fake plant to kind of help with the water turbulence. The filter replacements, I got those at Amazon. And the entire tank I got at Amazon. And then the last two things, the rocks were from Petco. And then this was an Amazon purchase, the thermometer. So all of this to just help it work out for your fish. So yeah, you can kind of see the water's pushing him around a little bit. He's gotten used to it, and he's able to kind of fight things off, fight off the, what do you call it, the current. But nevertheless, he doesn't spend as much time in this section of the tank because of the water. But again, I think it's working because again, the plant is kind of providing some shelter. But yeah, so there you have it. Any questions, I will try to be a little bit more accommodating in the description, or excuse me, in the comment section. I'll try to reply back. But the sheer beauty of the tank and convenience of it works. Outside of that, I would say, excuse me, I think, you know, the tank is it's good. For $29-30, you honestly, you can't beat it. But it takes a little bit of massaging to make it work, especially because the filter is not the best in my opinion. But the tank turned out to be beautiful. So there you have it. Peace.